All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Everybody had a lovely day. With that being said, let's get some TA. All right, guys, let's kick it off here today with SPY. Guys, we did end up breaking above out of that range that we've been watching here on SPY and QQQ. We had that double bottom kind of look to us. You came back down at the bottom of the range, and then you went off to the races. All right, so today we did end up hitting that 494.37 and the 592.65 level that we were paying attention to. If you could start breaking above the top of the range, you did end up getting up there. And, you know, I'm just going to say, I do think this thing and QQ are very likely going to head up to all-time highs from here. We need to be bullish on this dip until proven otherwise. It did prove to, you know, be a buying opportunity before things rip back up. I'm just going to say, though, a lot of components here are not ripping back up with the indices. So what is causing them to move up? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But, you know, things aren't looking like they would be normally looking when these indices are moving towards all-time highs. We are in the golden pocket now over here on SPY. So if you can get above this 597 resistance there, I do have to assume you're probably going to take a run straight up to 617 over either that trading session or the following trading session. We clear as day do have, you know, decent volatility going on here. That was an $8 day, you know, $8 swing intraday. It's not out of the question here to run to all-time highs tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I will definitely say you held the, you know, breakout zone right here. Spot on perfectly. We had an hourly bullish divergence sitting over here, coming over here to NASDAQ. All right, NQ had the 4-hour bullish divergence. ES had the 4-hour bullish divergence. RTY had the 4-hour bullish divergence. Everything was looking really pretty. All right, everything was looking like we were probably going to be getting that bounce. I said I'd be damned if we were to sell from here. Over there on Twitter, if you're not already following the Twitter, link is down below. I suggest following me over there. I'll post some nice insights every now and then. All right. You know, as of right now, guys, you just got to really watch 597. If you can get above 597, look for a continuation to a new all-time high, and then probably, you know, the 605 psych level above there. Support is going to be 592.65. All right. You filled that gap today. And then we have 590.104 and then 590.20. That is what we want to hold if we pull back into here tomorrow. I do not want to see you get another one of these guys. You know, at that point, if you get back down here, I have a feeling we're just going to fade this. But, you know, I'm going to just come over here to QQQ and point out, guys, you have no reason to get bearish until this trend line snaps. You keep seeing buyers step in exactly where they need to step in. We've outlined this trend line before it was tested over here. It is now acting as support once, 2 times, 3 times. All right. Buyers stepped in exactly where they needed to all of these times. And as you see, we pushed up to, you know, almost back up to the high today. It's not looking too shabby. You're above the daily 9. I said at some point we are probably going to be gapping up. I was thinking that was going to be yesterday. It was not yesterday. We did have NVDA earnings yesterday after the bell. What happened, guys? They didn't tank the market. And the fact that they didn't tank the market suggested the market's probably just going to move freely. And, you know, I'm just going to say this NVIDIA daily chart over here is not looking too bad. The weekly chart is also not looking too bad. It looks like it wants to pop up to a new high next week. That's just my opinion. All right. So coming back over here to QQQ, do not get bearish until this trend line breaks. If trend line breaks, bad things happen. Okay. Boom. Bad things can happen. And it's going to be an aggressive sell. And the fact that we keep getting buyers there suggests it doesn't want to break just yet. Okay. If this thing was followed right here with another, you know, big red bar down there, that wouldn't have been the best look there. We probably were going to start sinking. What happened? They stepped in exactly where they need to step in. We are probably going to head up to a new all-time high. All right. But as of right now, SPY and QQ are both, you know, just about in their golden pockets. QQQ, it's going to be right at that 507.77 gap we've been watching over there. But I do want to say you were above the daily 9. You had your first close back above it. Found rejection there the other day. And that does lead me to believe this market wants to go higher. Short-term momentum is probably going to be coming back into this thing, all right? So you're watching 507.77, 509.83. Get above 511 here, okay? And we are probably going to start pushing 515.58. New all-time high. 4 on QQ, 503.52, 501.01. And then 496.73, guys. If you take out 496.73, that is the level I was, I have an alert right there. If that was to get hit, we are probably just going to start sinking. Why do I say that? Well, it comes back to that trend line. This is down here. If you were going to slip that far away and then you were going to take out this low, yeah, odds are this was a false breakout from this little range here, and we were going to start sinking. That did not happen. Okay. IWM. This is another chart that looks absolutely amazing. This is probably the best looking, index chart I can point to right now. This and DIA are not looking bad at all. IWM expects sellers up there at 235.65. That's going to be right around the start of the golden pocket there at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement. All right. And then you have 238.49 above there, and get above 238.49. Just get above 239. We're going to be looking for a move back up to 242.39 and the new all-time high at 244.46. This was just a break and retest. We are waiting for it. All right. It didn't have to be tested, but the fact it was tested and respected right away on this, bullish engulfing candlestick right here all in one day showed that, yeah, buyers were defending there, and we were probably going to be seeing further upside. We're now getting that upside. All right. Everyone wants to get bearish on these retests. Guys, buy. Major retests. QQQ. Golden pocket test right here. Where did you start basing out? Well, you didn't test the 0.618 fib after you did it on this day right here. People want to get bearish on these things. We were calling for the pullback before it happened. And then guess what? It was time. Okay. It was time, especially over here on the small caps. There you go. All right. Support on IWM is going to be 233.64, 230.60, 228.63, and then 226.64. I don't think we're coming back down here until you get up here. I think we're about to test 238.49. All right. Resistance 235.65, 238.49. Get above 239 though. All right. So I would just honestly get rid of this level right here. Get above 239, and you're looking for a move back up to new highs there, 242.39, and then the new all-time high at 244.46. Coming over here to DIA, I do want to point out massive volume today. Last time we had similar volume over here, you actually surpassed that today. You kept going. All right. Yeah, this right over here, this is, buyers stepping in, guys. This is just strictly buyers. I don't think there's sellers in this equation here. Okay. Buyers stepped in over here with the heavy volume. You kept going. Over here, you at least had one more, update over there. I think this thing wants a new high. And if you can get above 441.70, 441.70, you're probably going to make a new all-time high above 444.87. That is 444.87. Support, 438.44. And then, if I had to pull something out over here, we're going to watch 436.51. And you're just watching down here where you already, had buyers defend. I'm looking for further upside over here. You got VIX over here consolidating between the moving averages. I think it's likely that you see this thing come back down here. We're going to see how this all plays out, just off of how SPY is looking over here. All right. And how QQQ is looking over here, back above those daily nines. I have to assume we're probably going to start seeing further upside. Now you come over to things like this, Tesla. All right. It looks like it's consolidating before the next big leg up. That's how, I'm seeing this chart. We have, a lot of these charts are either, they got sold as the market is rallying right here. Okay. Or they're looking like they're just consolidating before further upside. Like we have a lot of these things that are just not really moving here with the market. And if they start to bounce, market has, a recipe for a new all-time high. Amazon is one of these charts. You got a lot of levels here. I know. But, you broke underneath this 0.786 fib from right here, this impulsive move right there. Underneath there, where are we going to be watching? Watching the next golden pocket. This is, the whole one for this whole major move up here. We were watching 195.37. That was going to be big breakout level right there. Where did buyers step in? All right, 195.75. They didn't, they missed it by about 50 cents, 45 cents right there. That is okay. All right, so reclaim 201.20 over here. It's going to be looking a lot better. And we're going to retest that daily 9 up here. And that's going to be, around that 204.67 level up there. At this point, it's going to make it today's high, okay? If you get above 203.49, get a daily close above there, correction is probably over. We're going to start pushing back up. That is what I'm going to assume. Come over here to Goog. Pretty ugly, guys. All right. But again, it is selling. It's a major component over here of, the NASDAQ we just looked at. Guess what? If this thing starts to bounce, you have a recipe for further upside over there's more buying pressure coming in to QQQ, which we just covered. All right. Underneath 167.40 over here, 0.786 fib, means we're probably going to come down to 162.77. So if you do see that move, expect buyers to defend in between, 161.12 here and 162.77. And then you have the next golden pocket starting right here. Not too bad. You want to see the power of the golden pocket? We'll talk about it. Right here. You lose all that right there at the 0.786 fib. I'm expecting this area down here to be defended. Right down here. Went over to Microsoft. All right, you're still holding the golden pocket there. You continue bouncing right off of the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement. If you come down, watch for buyers off of 408. I'm not going to say like all these components. That's why I was saying at the beginning of the video, it doesn't really make sense why we're seeing SPY and QQ move up and then most of the big components here are selling or trading flat. I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. I'm thinking these are probably going to get bought up and then those, have more fuel for upside. You come over here to Meta. Another thing, like this chart does not look like how QQ is looking right now. Most of the time, we see a lot of these things just move with the NASDAQ. It's not happening right now. All right. Chips, they're also really not moving with the NASDAQ right now. Like, things aren't, really making sense. But, all right, I can see this. If you come down to 542.81, we're probably going to get buyers stepping in. And then you have more fuel for upside on the NASDAQ. This is just something that's not making sense to me. But what I can clearly see is I think downside is limited. All right. Coming over here to NVIDIA. Weekly chart. Weekly candle right here. Bounced off the daily 9. You held the 137.46 level. That was what we were paying attention to on that dip. You held it exactly. All right. The low was right over here at 137.15. And then you're back off the races. You made a new high today. Okay. This weekly chart is not bearish. So, this is one that's, that maybe this is just solely moving the NASDAQ up. Yes, NVIDIA is holding the whole market up. Nope. I'm just kidding, guys. That is not how that works. But, at least, this one's kind of making sense over here. But either way, bullish chart, guys. And if you do see this thing pull back into 131.26, that's probably going to be defended down here. I'm not bearish on this thing. And then you come over here to Avgo, and this is something that really makes me think, yeah, downside is either limited or we're about to snap back up right now. Okay? You getting buyers, they don't want to test their 160.41 support down there. They don't want to test it. I want them to, but they don't want to test it. But again, every time over the last 1.3 years here, you have found buyers start stepping in right when this thing hit 35.5. Well, intraday, you already hit that. And you keep getting bought up. You've hit it twice in a row now. And you keep getting bought up. Things like this. Everything suggested more upside to me. That's what I'm seeing. TSM over here, crawling back up. Held the golden pocket. And now, you're consolidating around the EMAs over here. If you can reclaim 193.47, you probably start pushing back up to 198.17. And then we'll talk about 205.20. Or you're just going to be watching 184.25. AMD. All right. You're still just consolidating. Like, this is what I'm saying. Most of these major components here, they're not moving up. So, I can't explain why QQ and, S&P 500 are just straight up moving up. I can't. I don't know. I got no idea. But I will point out how these charts are looking. And, this makes me think, yeah, you're probably going to get it, a little bounce over here off of this. But, then again, AMD is a troll. I reminded everyone when we had our big breakout here. What did it turn out to be? Big false breakout. Why? Because AMD is a troll. I really don't like trading the thing. I stick to, select tickers, and this just ain't one of them. Cover it because I think you guys like it. That is that. All right. ARM over here. Held the golden pocket over here. But if you do want to come a little lower, I'm again going to say downside is probably limited. You cannot hold this. I was originally looking for you to test, 120s over here. You didn't. Okay. You did not. You found, bars right there above this 0.786 fib. And now you're just coming back here. And honestly, this thing doesn't look the best over here. Okay. But if you were to sell, I'm just going to say downside is limited. You're finding sellers right here around 138.40. That is where you broke down from. It's technically right over here. All right. And that was tested today at 137.29. Get a daily close above 137.29. And this chart's going to look a lot better. You probably come up here to test 147. MU, this is the one that's popping today. All right. You see that volume spike right there on this move. Found buyers at the golden pocket. You finally broke down from the range. We were looking for buyers either here at 96.18 or 90.97. One of the gaps was likely to hold. Okay. And now we're getting buyers stepping back in with vengeance. Okay. What I don't like is on the weekly time frame over here. All right. You're probably just going to consolidate again. I don't see a reason to touch this thing. I really don't. Now let's talk about something I do really like. I like INTC right now. I really like this and Avgo. Those are the two chip stocks that I'm focusing on. All right. You get this little, consolidation in the form of a bull pennant or a bull flag, whatever you want to call this thing. And you're starting to get that breakout. You got the increasing volume on the day. You did not come back and, test the 0.618 fib like I was expecting. But I don't think things are looking bad at all. I think you're probably getting ready for another leg up over here. Okay. Now, guys, let's talk about some Bitcoin. 100K. Is it incoming? Is it not? I'm just letting you know. If you wrote this and you aren't taking profits and you're one of these people who just think it's going to keep going up, I'm going to call you stupid. I don't mean to call anyone stupid. But, I know someone who has this belief, and I think this is the stupidest thing ever. It's not just going to go straight up. You are now up, straight vertical move pretty much here. Not really a pullback. It's 68%. Can it go higher? Yeah. Yeah, it can. But, 35K on that rip right here. It's technically from over here. You had this little 2-week pullback, but, like right here, that's 40K. This was 35K. That's when it was a lot less expensive too, and you probably had more buyers coming in down here. Okay? What about this one? 24K. I'm just putting it out there. I don't think there's a reason for this thing to just keep skyrocketing. 100K is the big psychological level that we know everyone and their mothers is, looking at, and they wanted to sell there. Don't sell after it. If you're in this thing, sell before. I also want to point out, this happened today. I think it's just going to go back up here to the highs. No, I think we're starting a larger pullback, and, that's fine. All right. You don't need to be chasing these things. Can it, print this type of candlestick and just continue running? Of course. We have this exact same thing that marked the, what is this, 2021 high. So, yeah, I won't be surprised if we put in a major top today and we start actually pulling back on this thing. You have not hit the 21 EMA. That is how much momentum this has had the whole entire time. Today, you killed that momentum with a 30% down day. Okay? I know it's only actually 16%, but, peak to trough over here, that's minus 31%. You killed the momentum. Okay? You had this over here in a day, was 11%. In total, it was 16%. You just died. So, I'm just going to say, if you still think Bitcoin's going to keep going straight up, I'm not going to call anyone stupid, but I think you're making a very, your logic is skewed. We'll call it that because Henry's going to be nice. Mar over here, I mean, this is one that, I do like. All right. But again, if Bitcoin is going to, start coming down, doesn't make this sense for this thing to run. But you do have a bullish engulfing candlestick here on the weekly chart with that increasing volume. I kind of really like the look of Mara over here. But, you know, coin over here, you have these two indecision candlesticks. When along these runs did you print two indecision candlesticks back to back and then continue? You didn't. You didn't. It marked the top. Okay? You know, you just don't get this type of action right before you start ripping higher. I think caution is warranted over here, and I think people should take a chill pill. All right. I was getting kind of frustrated that CLSK was not, you know, participating in Bitcoin's rally. That is fine. Okay. But it's time to take a chill pill, take a step back. This thing does not look like it's just going to shoot up. All right. We called it out, you know, somewhere down here. Got plenty of profits along the way here on this big spike. It's time to take a chill pill on the Bitcoin stocks. All right. I'm going to stop covering them for a little while. Just letting you guys know. Because I don't see a reason to. I think Bitcoin's probably going to be entering correction mode. It could be sideways. It could pull back. But I don't think there's a reason to focus on them. I'll point out the things that, you know, I am focusing on. So now I'll point out some trade ideas. Okay? Which I pointed out the other day. I'm not going to say the entry point is right now. But you could do it whatever you want. All right? You do have LLY over here. Bullish divergence over here on the daily RSI. I will not be surprised if you start just trekking higher. You got that guy going on. I think Tesla is very obviously just consolidating before it, you know, gets a little pop over here. You have to get above 348.55. That was your high over here, top of your range. Get above there. We're watching 358.64. Excuse me, in the short term. And above there, you don't really have much. You really do not have much until you come back up to 384.29. That's a big move. And from that point, you're probably just going to come up here to new all-time high above 414. Biddy. This chart is no joke. I really like this chart. Okay. I think this is something that, you know, still has that momentum. I just showed you MSTR. It's killing the momentum. Over here on Tesla, it looks like it wants to continue. I think new all-time high is incoming. Okay. That's what I'm paying attention to over there. RK, I pointed out, bullish on the retest over here. Still not looking too bad. If you see this thing pop above 56.19, you're probably going to run towards 58.38. Aside from that, guys, all right, I think it's time to chill. We have some solid setups going on here. I've pointed out Avgo. I do think if you're buying, you know, any expiration past earnings, I think you're probably going to see premiums increase into that event. I think downside is limited over here. I like INTC. All right. But a lot of these things, all right, you're just going to have to sit on and wait. I think Amazon is probably going to be bouncing back from this, you know, 195.37 level over here. Well, we might have to, you know, just chill on it. Just wait. Okay. You do have the bullish divergence going on over here. If Meta does end up pulling all the way back down here, I think that's a clear as day buy. You did get the bullish divergence over here. You have a triple bullish divergence, actually. You know, it's really not looking too bad at all. Not. Okay. So those are my thoughts, guys. I think markets are going to run up to all-time highs over, you know, probably the next week or so. We have a short trading week next week. Thanksgiving is coming. Then we will have Black Friday. If you guys do want 50% off, if you want help with your options trading and you need clarity in options trading, I swing trade. I will share my method to the madness. 50% off is my early Black Friday sale. Down below, just use code Black Friday. Any plan. All right, guys, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm sorry I was not here yesterday, but I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch y'all on Saturday. That being said, everybody have a lovely rest of their night, and peace.